If you have not yet read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, it is a book I highly suggest you start reading. And as you can tell, I've read mine quite a bit. I will be going through this book, tearing it down brick by brick. Law number 37, create compelling spectacles. Judgment. Striking imagery and grand symbolic gestures create the aura of power. Everyone responds to them. Stage spectacles for those around you, then full of arresting visuals and radiant symbols that heighten your presence. Dazzled by appearances, no one will notice what you were really doing. Remember, your search for power depends on shortcuts. You must always circumvent people's suspicions, their perverse desire to resist your will. Images are an extremely effective shortcut. Bypassing the head, the seat of doubt and resistance, they aim straight for the heart. Overwhelming the eyes, they create powerful associations, bringing people together and stirring their emotions. With the white light of the moon in their eyes, your targets are blinded to the deceptions you practice. Reversal. No power is made available by ignoring images and symbols. There is no possible reversal to this law. Law number 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Judgment. If you make a show of going against the times, flaunting your unconventional ideas and unorthodox ways, people will think that you only want attention and that you look down upon them. They will find a way to punish you for making them feel inferior. It is far safer to blend in and nurture the common touch. Share your originality only with tolerant friends and those who are sure to appreciate your uniqueness. Keys to power. We all tell lies and hide our true feelings, for complete free expression is a social impossibility. From an early age, we learn to conceal our thoughts, telling the prickly and insecure what we know they want to hear, watching carefully lest we offend them. Reversal. The only time it is worth standing out is when you already stand out, when you have achieved an unshakable position of power and can display your difference from others as a sign of the distance between you. Law number 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. I know a bunch of motherfuckers like this. Judgment. Anger and emotion are strategically counterproductive. You must always stay calm and objective. But if you can make your enemies angry while staying calm yourself, you gain a decided advantage. Put your enemies off balance. Find the chink in their vanity through which you can rattle them, and you hold the strings. To show your frustration is to show that you have lost your power to shape events. It is the helpless action of the child who resorts to a hysterical fit to get his way. The powerful never reveal this kind of weakness. Remember, tantrums neither intimidate nor inspire loyalty. They only create doubts and uneasiness about your power. Exposing your weakness, these stormy eruptions often herald a fall. Reversal. When playing with people's emotions, you have to be careful. Study the enemy beforehand. Some fish are best left at the bottom of the pond. Law 40. One of my favorites. Despise the free lunch. Judgment. What is offered for free is dangerous. It usually involves either a trick or a hidden obligation. What has worth is worth paying for. By paying your own way, you stay clear of gratitude, guilt, and deceit. It is also often wise to pay the full price. There is no cutting corners with excellence. Be lavish with your money and keep it circulating, for generosity is a sign and a magnet for power. Pause for the full reversal. The lesson is simple. Bait your deceptions with the possibility of easy money. People are essentially lazy and want wealth to fall in their lap rather than to work for it. For a small sum, sell them advice on how to make millions, which is what you see on social media nowadays with all these TikTokers. Buy this course for, $1,000 or some shit like that. But 9 times out of 10, you can probably pick that knowledge up on YouTube for the free 99. Law number 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Judgment. What happens first always appears better and more original than what comes after. If you succeed a great man or have a famous parent, you will have to accomplish double their achievements to outshine them. Do not get lost in their shadow or stuck in a past not of your own making. Establish your own name and identity by changing course. Slay the overbearing father, disparage his legacy, and gain power by shining in your own way. The past prevents the young hero from creating his own world. He must do as his father did, even after that father is dead or powerless. The hero must bow and scrape before his predecessor and yield to tradition and precedent. What has success in the past must be carried over to the present, even though circumstances have greatly changed. The past also weighs the hero down with an inherentness that he is terrified of losing, making him timid and cautious. Reversal. Making a display of doing things differently from your predecessor can make you seem childish and in fact out of control, unless your actions have. Law number 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Judgment. Trouble can often be traced to a single strong individual, the stirrer, the arrogant underling, the poisoner of goodwill. If you allow such people room to operate, others will succumb to their influence. Do not wait for the troubles they cause to multiply. Do not try to negotiate with them. They are irredeemable. Neutralize their influence by isolating or banishing them. Strike at the source of the trouble and the sheep will scatter. Learn the lesson. Do not waste your time lashing out in all directions at what seems to be a many-headed enemy. Find the one head that matters. The person with willpower or smarts, or most important of all, charisma. Whatever it costs you, lure this person away. For once he is absent, his powers will lose their effect. His isolation could be physical, banishment or absence from the court, political, narrowing his base of support, or psychological, alienating him from the group through slander and insinuation. Cancer begins with a single cell. Excise it before it spreads beyond cure. Law number 43, work on the hearts and minds of others. Go ahead and pause it for the judgment. In the game of power, you are surrounded by people who have absolutely no reason to help you unless it is in their interest to do so. And if you have nothing to offer their self-interest, you are likely to make them hostile, for they will see in you just one more competitor, one more waster of their time. Remember, the key to persuasion is softening people up and breaking them down gently. Seduce them with a two-pronged approach. Work on their emotions and play on their intellectual weaknesses. Be alert to both what separates them from everyone else, their individual psychology, and what they share with everyone else, their basic emotional responses. Aim at the primary emotions: love, hate, jealousy. Once you move their emotions, you have reduced their control, making them more vulnerable to persuasion. In all your encounters, take a step back. Take the time to calculate and attune yourself to your target's emotional makeup and psychological weaknesses. Force will only strengthen their resistance. Law number 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Pause for the judgment. There are four main mirror effects on the realm of power. First being the neutralizing effect. Do what your enemies do, following their actions as best you can, and they cannot see what you are up to. They are blinded by your mirror. Then we have the narcissist effect. This is simply the ability to mimic another person, not physically, but psychologically. And it is immensely powerful because it plays upon the unsatisfied self-love of a child. Then we have the moral effect. You mirror what other people have done to you and do so in a way that makes them realize you are doing to them exactly what they did to you. This is also known as the teacher's mirror. Remember, we teach people in life how to treat us. And last up is the hallucinatory effect. The hallucinatory effect comes from creating a perfect copy of an object, a place, or a person. This copy acts as a kind of a dummy. People take it for the real thing because it has the physical appearance of the real thing. This is the preeminent technique of con artists who strategically mimic the real world to deceive. Law number 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Judgment. Everyone understands the need for change in the abstract, but on the day-to-day level, people are creatures of habit. Too much innovation is traumatic and will lead to revolt. If you are new to a position of power or an outsider trying to build a power base, make a show of respecting the old way of doing things. If change is necessary, make it feel like a gentle improvement on the past. It must be considered that there is nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle than to initiate a new order of things. Machiavelli. Keys to power. Human psychology contains many dualities, one of them being that even while people understand the need for change, knowing how important it is for institutions and individuals to be occasionally renewed, they are also irritated and upset by changes that affect them personally. They know that change is necessary and that novelty provides relief from boredom, but deep inside they cling to the past. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Appearing better than others is always dangerous, but most dangerous of all is to appear to have no faults or weaknesses. Envy creates silent enemies. It is smart to occasionally display defects and admit to harmless vices in order to deflect envy and appear more human and approachable. Only gods and the dead can seem perfect with impunity. Of all the disorders of the soul, envy is the only one no one confesses to. Plutarch. There are several strategies for dealing with the insidious, destructive emotion of envy. First, accept the fact that there will be people who will surpass you in some way, and also the fact that you may envy them. But make that feeling a way of pushing yourself to equal or surpass them someday. Let envy turn inward, and it poisons the soul. Expel it outward, and it can move you to greater heights. Second, understand that as you gain power, those below you will feel envious of you. They may not show it, but it is inevitable, as Thanos says. Getting to the end. Law number 47. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. Judgment. The moment of victory is often the moment of greatest peril. In the heat of victory, arrogance and overconfidence can push you past the goal you had aimed for. And by going too far, you make more enemies than you defeat. Do not allow success to go to your head, boy. There is no substitute for strategy and careful planning. Set a goal, and when you reach it, stop. Interpretation. There is nothing more intoxicating than victory, and nothing more dangerous. Understand, in the realm of power, you must be guided by reason. To let a momentary thrill or an emotional victory influence or guide your moves will prove fatal. When you attain success, step back. Be cautious. When you gain victory, understand the part played by the particular circumstances of a situation and never simply repeat the same actions again and again. History is littered with the ruins of victorious empires and corpses of leaders who could. And finally, the final law to Mr. Robert Greene's magnum opus: assume formlessness. Judgment. By taking a shape, by having a visible plan, you open yourself to attack. Instead of taking a form for your enemy to grasp, keep yourself adaptable and on the move. Accept the fact that nothing is certain and no law is fixed. The best way to protect yourself is to be fluid, as formless as water. Never bet on stability or lasting order. Everything changes. Power can only thrive if it is flexible in its forms. To be formless is not to be amorphous. Everything has a form. It is impossible to avoid. The first psychological requirement of formlessness is to train yourself to take nothing personally. Never show any defensiveness. When you act defensive, you show your emotions, revealing a clear form. Your opponents will realize they have hit a nerve, an Achilles heel, and they're going to hit that shit again and again. So train yourself to take nothing personally. Never let anyone get your back up. Be like a slippery ball that cannot be held.